Hello, my name is Eddie Mannon, and this is the final video for Film Adaptations Text to Screen. I always check to make sure I pronounce that correctly. Um, and the film I wanted to talk about that we covered in this class this quarter, it was called Adaptation, the 2002 film that kind of went along with the story we read, The Orchid Thief. Um, and as most people remember, it was starring Nicolas Cage as the two main characters, not just a singular character. He played the two main characters, Charlie and Donald Kaufman, and they follow a reporter who's trying to do a news journal on a orchid thief. And it's a very loose adaptation of the book that we read, um, but I found it very interesting nonetheless. And I decided I wanted to talk about this one just because it was a very interesting film, to say the least. A lot of stuff happens, and frankly, a lot of stuff doesn't make too much sense at first glance. But I feel like once you kind of dive into it a little bit deeper, it gets a lot more interesting the longer you look at it. Um, so one of the first things I wanted to talk about was the way that Charlie and Donald are portrayed in the movie. Um, because a lot of the conflicts for the film, in a way, for Charlie at least, are portrayed about around him and Donald being closely related, but also being different in their own ways. And in a sense, both of them are kind of jealous of one another for different things throughout the entire film. Charlie is jealous of Donald for writing a movie that considers complete garbage, and yet it gets a movie deal. And, Donald's kind of jealous of Charlie because he has this house. He's already famous. He's already made a lot of movies, and he just wants some input. Um, and I think this jealousy works out really well whenever both characters are portrayed as brothers and they're supposed to be jealous of one another. Because sometimes with jealousy, you can take it different ways. You could say, oh, well, one's jealous of the other because one's fat and one's skinny, one's tall, one's short, one's beautiful, one's ugly. But I feel like having both of the characters portrayed by the same actor really gets rid of a lot of that outside influence. And it really makes the conflict and the struggle between the two almost entirely internalized. Um, Instead of the audience making assumptions like, well, I bet one of the reasons he's jealous is because brother A is more beautiful than brother B, or what have you. So I thought that was very effective, making them portrayed by the same character, so you kind of get rid of the outside appearance forms of jealousy. Another thing that I really liked is actually talked about it somewhat in the movie, kind of the Ouroboros effect, how we start watching a movie and we get a really strange intro with the jellyfish and the start of the universe and the dinosaurs going extinct. And then later on in the movie, Charlie is trying to write his film, and the intro he gives his film is related to the intro that we just watched for this film, the kind of Ouroboros self fulfilling prophecy sort of circle. It was very interesting and engaging and unique that we kind of watch a movie and then about halfway through we see the an artist writing a screenplay for the film that we're currently watching, and then we kind of watch it progress, and once we see that very first similarity we can start kind of see he'll say something and we can expect it later on, um, which was very captivating for me because I was just trying to hang on every word they talked about to see if I could get kind of a glimpse into the future of what was going to happen, which leads directly into the third point that I wanted to talk about. Charlie talks about all these cliches of things he doesn't want to happen in his film. He doesn't want some action scene with a gunfight or a car chase or any big self-fulfilling overarching themes of the characters learning a lesson, learning to love each other, learning to love one another. And yet, that's exactly what happens at the end of the film that we're watching. Because Charlie states all these things are stupid for the kind of film he wants to make, that they're pointless, that they don't need some big overarching themes or big action scenes to make a good film. And yet, in the movie we're watching, that is exactly how it ends. It ends with a gunfight, a car chase, death, characters growing to love each other and love themselves. everything that Charlie said can, in certain circumstances, make a movie bad. And it kind of gives you this internal feeling of, well, are they trying to mock themselves? Are they trying to say that the movie that they made that we are watching is bad? Or are they trying to say Charlie thought that would make a bad film, and yet here you are watching it and enjoying it? Maybe he was wrong all along. So, but eh, anyway, I think a lot of the things that I really liked about this film were just kind of the self-fulfilling prophecies and how it was very meta, writing the screenplay for itself as we're watching it, and then taking all these cliches that they said they didn't want in the film, throwing that out the window, and then making them anyways. Um, I thought that made it a very compelling movie and one that I feel like watching it again, I would notice even more subtleties and hidden things, and I would probably even come to enjoy it more if I were to watch it again. So I don't know, maybe that'll be a summer project. See if there's anything else I can notice that really stands out to me. Um, but yeah, I think I went a little over my 5 minutes, but that was my impressions of the film Adaptation. Um, and I thought it was a great film, and I thought this was a wonderful class. So thank you.